I was thinking about it. We're live. With Mel today. Mel, the gifting goddess, the epic coach, the mind coding practitioner. Mel Leslie in the house.
Hello.
It's so good to have you here. I bumped her out. She's like, I've got a live with Mel. I went, no, I'm jumping in on that one. She said, you meant to be on holiday. I was like, yeah, I'm jumping in on Mel. I'm having Mel, thank you. How is my gifting goddess today?
Gifting goddess is good. It's really humid here today. It's really dull and a little bit windy, but it's really steamy. It's steamy in the shed.
That's a whole other broadcast.
Yeah, that's another live we'll do.
Oh, I love it, honestly. But what was on my heart, I was saying, we have like a little chat in the green room before you guys join us. And if you're here, say hi, was around like things that felt really crunchy, I think, for people at the minute, haven't they? I did a post the other day just saying, like, if it feels like things are being stripped away from you now, and if it feels like things are a little bit hard, like, hang on in there. It's not just you. It's definitely energies at the minute. And I think it amplifies it. I think we're all feeling it, but I think in entrepreneurship, I just feel like you feel like you're on the cutting edge of it a little bit more. And entrepreneurship isn't like an easy journey, isn't it? Because now you're ex-corporate the same as us. And I think it's a different kind of hard, but I think entrepreneurship comes with a whole different set of things that can feel really hard, especially if you're going through it and trying to do it flying solo. Like, I can't imagine people out there on their own without Limitless or anything around them. I'm like, how do you guys get on? I had 3 weeks without traveling in Australia. I didn't enjoy it as much as I do when she's here. So
you feel like you're out on a limb, aren't you? And I think because some of it we put on ourselves in terms of the pressure that all of a sudden, when you work in corporate, you've got the backing of a brand, you've got teams around you, you've got people that you can just, pop your head over at their desk and ask them a question. And then when you move into the world of entrepreneurship, you are on your own to a degree. And all of a sudden, it is all about you. You are the brand.
It's like millionaire. It's like and it's just like you sat in the spotlight, like needing to know all the frigging answers to all the questions to all the things.
And you're doing all the things as well, aren't you? Especially in the early days, you're setting up your social media, you're having to do your accounts, you're having to get your messaging right, you've got to go, meet client, you're doing all of the things, and it can seem a lot. And I think and I know certainly I have been in the past, we put a lot of unnecessary pressure on ourselves.
Big style. And where do you think that pressure comes from when we do that?
I think a lot of it comes from our desires, where we desire to be successful. We're passionate about what we do. We want to be doing the right things. We want to get our message across. But also, I think certainly in the transitional phase, there's that self-doubt element that comes in 100%, because it's very different creating your own business to what it is to working in a business. As I say, you've got, it's all down to you, isn't it? And I think that's when the self-doubt then starts to come in. Well, can I actually do this? Am I good enough to do this? I mean, I still get that sort of 3 years in nearly. There's still those. Now I'm so thankful because I've got the tools to recognize those triggers and tell myself that I'm talking bullshit to myself. But in the early days, and if you don't work with someone like you guys, it can seem such a lot. We can sometimes think that the only thing is, well, I can't do this, I'm going to have to go back and get another job or whatever. And when that's not what your desire, deep down, that is absolutely not what you want to do, but you can't see the wood for trees sometimes. And that's where having like Limitless and things like that is amazing, because you've got cheerleaders around you and that support and friendship, I suppose, and energy around you to help work through those things.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's interesting. So Limitless, for anyone who doesn't know, Limitless is like it's a group coaching space. It's not a program as such, is it? It's not like you're going through A to Z for 6 months or 12 months, but it's like a group of entrepreneurs and corporate leaders who we work with very closely, one-on-one as a group, where we learn, develop together. And the biggest thing that people say when they leave it is like they miss that energy and that vibration of just being in the fold, in the blessing of unicorns, because because like you're in such a minority when you're doing the work that you're doing, Mel, right? Like when you're setting up a business and you have multiple businesses, multiple streams to what you do as an entrepreneur, and the rest of the world don't necessarily, in your friendship groups and stuff, don't always understand that, do they? Like it can seem like insanity from the outside looking in. Like I'm aware we've been saying to a lot of people who are like, why do you do this to yourself? Especially when it's a hard month or a hard quarter or whatever. It's like, people are like, well, get a job, or there are easier ways to earn a living, but it doesn't make you happy.
Yeah, and that's where some of the outside noise can cloud your judgment, because that's where you can sometimes start questioning yourself, because and I think, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I don't ask, not because I don't trust their judgment, but I need to speak to people that are in the same energy as me and who get it, basically, because, you know, I love my friends, I love my family dearly, but they don't necessarily get it. And so I choose what I speak to them about now, because in the past, again, it's that when you've got someone's opinion over here and someone saying, well, you should be doing this, or you should be, I wouldn't be doing that. And that's when you do start to question, because you think, God, am I doing the right thing? But they're not living your experience. They're not running their own business. They're seeing things from their own lens of the world.
Yeah, that's so true. And then we get frustrated and upset if they don't see it, or we don't get the answer that we really want, when they literally, it's like someone who's speaking German asking them to speak something over here in French and getting frustrated that German is still coming out there. Do you know, like it's the same insanity that we have when we want something from someone that they're not able to give us, which is why it's so important that you're around people who are speaking your language, literally, who are in your vibration, who see you.
It's getting those different perceptions from people, but also something that you just said there about you're not getting the answers you want. What I've learned over, is it 4 years nearly now of being here? What I've learned is no one else is ever going to give you the answer that you want, because the answer that you want is only ever going to come from you and from within you.
I love that. And it's so true. And I know it's not what people want to hear when they spend a fortune and they come and sit with us and they're like, well, what's the answer? And we're like, well, you know the answer, because we can give you our version of it. But if it's not embodied, if it's not really from you, in you, within you, you're not going to deliver on it. You're not going to do it, which is, I think, why a lot of business coaching or mentorship doesn't necessarily gel, because you're hearing something but it doesn't fit, or it doesn't feel aligned either with your values or with your beliefs or with like just your energy of what you feel that you can get behind, you know. Like even with our coach, she'll say things and I'm like, she's like, well, what is it? And I'm like, Matt, and she's like, because if you say you're going to do it and your energy's not behind it, you won't do it. And it's so true. She's like, so what can you get your energy behind? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I have to go with every single time.
Because that you shoulding thing, and there's so much out there, isn't there? It's so loud and noisy on all of the different Instagram, social media platforms, where you've got one person over here saying you should be doing this, another person over here saying you should be doing that, and then where we make the mistake sometimes is we a bit like the shiny object type syndrome. You think, okay, well, I'm going to head down that route now, but the whole time you're heading down it, like you say, it doesn't feel right, and there is resistance there. But because so and so said you should be doing it, you try and fight through it, and actually, instead of taking a couple of steps forward, you're constantly taking steps backwards instead of forwards because of it. Because there's that huge resistance between basically what your heart's saying and what you're actually doing.
It's so true. It's so true. So, like, and I know you did, because I wrote about this. I don't know if it was an email yesterday or a post, I can't remember, but I said about like it's how it is really noisy out there at the moment. Like there's a lot going on. As consumers, we're constantly getting bombarded. I mean, Christ, every time we open Facebook, it's like every other thing's an advert or a sponsor. Do you know what I mean? So we're constantly getting bombarded, and then we're looking for these answers in this silver bullet. Like, how do you cut through that? Because now more than ever, it's so important that we find an R and be our authentic selves in this world. Like more than ever. I mean, I love AI. I think I'm fascinated by it. I'm like an avid learner of it at the minute. I'm like, how can we use this to leverage to make our lives easier? And how do we also, because I say things and I'm like, I know when things are AI and when they're not now. So it's like, how do we more and more like bring ourselves, our whole selves to this party? So that, because I think people are going to be craving that more than ever as we move through this month. So people are trying to work out, well, did you say that, or did your bot say that, or did you, like, how are you bringing, because you have been so ruthless in your journey of like really finding who Mel is and bringing her to the front of the shop. Like, what's your advice for people who might be struggling with finding their voice right now, or might feel like they can't be visible? Because we hear it every day, Mel, I'm scared to be visible. What if I get judged? Like, how do you make sure that you're not like sucked into that all the time?
It is, and I've been doing a lot of this even more so recently. You obviously know I've got the oak tree in the garden, and for me it's taking myself out of the doing, and part of my, if you want to call it, to-do list, my diary, is about having that time and space to connect to me every single day, whether that's just a couple of minutes. But because I was very much 100% when I was in corporate, and I like to think I'm sort of moved out of that stage now. The hustle mode was I wore that, I fully admit, I wore that as a badge of honor. You know, if I wasn't working from 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, I must be doing something wrong. I can't be successful if I don't work. And that's what caused the burnout, a lot of the burnout for me when I did crash and burn. So now for me, it is that importance of taking time for me just to sit and let the answers come to me, rather than plow through, because it can be very easy for me to sit in the shed like I am today and come in here first thing in the morning. It would be very easy for me just to stay in here and just plow through loads of work, but actually for me that doesn't work, and it actually goes completely against my projector human design as well, because I'm a projector, so it goes completely against that. So for me, I think it's limiting my time on things like social media as well. I love social media, Instagram in particular. I love it. It's creative, and that's who I am and what I am. But it's not getting stuck in that doom scrolling, and everyone's got their own journey that they're on, and you can take snippets from it, but always come back to your journey, your purpose, and what your vision and what your desires are. Because it can be very easy to be swayed from that with all of the shooting and all the noise. And that's a big part, again, like the connection piece that I talk about a lot. And I had a meeting with someone the other day and we were talking about the AI element, that human connection. There's so much that is incredible about AI, and it's going to help businesses in so many ways from streamlining, but it will never, ever replace connection and human connection. And I mean that human connection with others, but that human connection back to you. That's one thing that a robot and AI can't replace. So it's even more so now. I think it's even more important that we are dropping in and connecting back to ourselves, connecting back to our clients, connecting that human connection piece. I think is going to become even more important moving forward.
Oh, that gives me chills. It is. It's so true. And one thing that you have been really beautiful at demonstrating for us as a client and as a human, as soul, is your ability to sample life. Like, you're a projector, so you are this incredible visionary, and you'll move towards something, and then you'll get there and you're like, I want some of this, but not all of this, and bits of this. And then you'll sift and sort and then move and pivot to more of what you do want. Would you talk a little bit about that? Because I think so many people watching this do the thing where it's like, well, I've got the job, but when I retire, I don't like it, I don't love it, but I'll retire and then I'll enjoy myself. Or I've started the business and it's not really bringing me joy. It's not what I thought it was, but I've spent 2 years building this brand now, so I'm just going to have to, like, you know what I mean? Whereas you are much more fluid and you move through much faster into aligning yourself more and more and more into more of your purpose and what you're meant for. Would you just speak to that a little bit for us today?
Yeah. So I think before I set the business up, I was very much, I think, in that mindset of and elements again to culture of different companies that I'd worked in. That was it. That was what I was going to be doing for the rest of my working days. It'd be really hard for me to go and get a job elsewhere. I just resigned myself to the fact that that was it. And at the time, I thought it was what I loved, but I was pushing some stuff down from that perspective. Yeah. And I think what's happened since then, and since I made the decision to choose me and work with you guys, is I can't remember the term I used to use with you. Now it's gone completely out of my head, but I used to sort of like flip-flop from one thing to another. And whenever I used to say that to you, you used to say to me, no, you're not flip-flopping, Mel, you're pivoting. Because the more I was getting in tune with what I wanted to do as a business, the more I was getting in tune with what I wanted to do myself personally, it was showing me that you don't have to be stuck in one thing or one area to be successful. You get to choose all of the bits and bring it all together. And that's where I feel I'm at now, because my journey as a business owner it actually didn't start as gifting. It started, very differently in terms of doing some sort of self-employed bits here and there. And I started in travel, and then eventually the gifting was the light bulb moment. But that's sort of, I've pivoted in terms of my, so I was very much all to all when I started it, and then got more and more passionate about the women empowering women, working with other heart-led women. So I've niched, I don't like the word niche, but that's the people that light me up and that I love working with. So I choose to work with the heart-led and soul-led, purpose-driven female entrepreneurs, business leaders, because we get one another, and that's what lights me up. So I've taken the element of the gifting overall and done that. I then fascination with the mind. I've obviously become the qualified mind coding practitioner, and that sort of fueled more in me in terms of something else that we'd spoken about 2 or 3 years ago, about being a coach and help. And again, leaning into my projector HD that I love. I have got a very caring nature. I love helping people. I love looking after people. So actually, my bigger mission of women empowerment, I can help people from that aspect as well now. So I used to think I was sort of stopping and starting things, but I can now clearly see that all of those little nuances and pivots have actually led me to where I am today, and where I actually feel so radically certain of what my purpose and what my vision moving forward is. And had I not listened to my gut, had I not had those pivot moments, I'd still be running probably a very successful gifting business, but I'd be doing myself a disservice by not tapping into my other personal gifts, and doing people out there a disservice by not providing and sharing what I have to share and offer.
I can't imagine a world where
that's your question.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. And we love having you in our work. I think it's been 5 years now since COVID, which is insane.
I think it was 21. I think it was 21 when I joined. Well, what was it? What was Elite? And it's Limitless now. But yeah, it was 21 when I joined. Yeah,
it's insane. And we've had the privilege of also doing of like being in the room with you for group VIP days, for retreats, for one-to-one VIP days.
Oh my God.
And I'm not going to ask you to pick a favourite because that would be like Sophie's.
No, I think you could ask me to describe it, and I don't even know where I begin with that because there are no words to describe.
There are no words. And it's like right now, if someone's watching this and going, God, like I'm feeling lonely. I feel like I'm ready for a pivot, but I don't know how to get out my own way. I feel like I'm feeling stuck and would love some unicorn magic around us. Like right now, we can speak to you about Limitless. We could speak to you about, we've got a group VIP day on the 3rd of July in Newcastle, which we're so excited for. We've even got 2 men coming to that one.
I know. God, you was brilliant.
Amazing. And we've got one space for a VIP one-on-one day with us. And that's because we only had 2 open, but one of those ladies has actually come into Limitless. So we're like, okay, well, let's open that VIP day space as well. Would you just speak a little bit about what it's like being one-on-one with us in a VIP day, Mel?
Yeah, of course I can. I mean, yeah. Where do I begin? First of all, in point to your question about people that are sitting there thinking, "Oh, I want more for myself," or that is your biggest sign. First of all, that it's time to step into something and which may feel very unknown to you. Because the thing I will say about doing any of the work with you is almost not to go in with any expectations, because what you need to hear will become apparent in the room. And some people can get put off because they think, I don't know if I'm good enough, but if I'm ready to step into that type of environment. But the people that you're with in those rooms, you learn so much off of them, and you actually realize that you're actually not alone as well. There are other people. I've been in the rooms with people that when I've seen them, I thought, my God, I'm not good enough to be in a room with them. But it doesn't matter how long you've been in business or how long you've been doing what you've been doing. People still have challenges. They still have challenges, and they still need just as much support as you do.
100%. And I was at a...
Am I still there? I think I froze then. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, so it is a little bit glitching now, but I don't know if it's mine or yours, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
We can still hear.
So yeah, the VIP, the one-to-one, or the what do you want to talk about?
What's it like when you do a one-to-one VIP day with us? How did you find that experience? Because you're lucky you've done it twice.
Yeah. Oh God, how do I describe it? Again, I think it's about not going in with any expectation, because what I've learned, I can remember, I don't know if it was the last one or the time before, I think it might have been the time before, where I came in and we had like the I think that might have been in a group one actually, but the hot seat sessions, and I'd come not really knowing what I wanted answers to, but I also thought, I need more clients. Well, that wasn't what I needed at all, but it's
But you know what? I love that you've called that out, because that's actually what people are often consciously aware of. Like, I need more money, I need more clients. Even if you're doing quite well in business, we often hear that I was at I went to a VIP strategy day with a multi-figure entrepreneur the other week, and was surrounded by multi-6 and even 7-figure entrepreneurs as well. And it was the same conversations. It's the same conversations, just at different levels. Do you know what I mean? So and I find that all the time, which is what I love. But it's like, you don't have to worry about what's sitting under it. You just know that you feel blocked, and that you've been wanting something for a while that isn't happening. That's often like one of the key things. It's like, I feel like I'm stuck, or I've plateaued in my business, or I feel stale in my career and I'm not moving forward. That's often when people say, I just want the VIP tickets, I want to bust through it really quickly.
And I think it's going with that. It's going with an open mind and an open heart to what you'll discover about yourself, and it's just taking that time for you as well, because again, like I was saying, we can all get caught up in a little bit of hustle. as women as well, I think we feel guilty often for taking that time, and we class it as not, well, that's not work, so I can do that. But it's work, but in a whole different way, because it's working on you, which is ultimately going to impact every single area of your life, not just your business, because they are all linked. Because if one's out of sync, it's going to have an impact on all of the other areas. So I think it's, you know, about accepting and acknowledging that you as an individual deserve to spend that time with yourself and with people that are going to support you. And you will go into the room with expectations, because, you know, I say don't go into it, but, you know, you're going to have this idea of what's going to happen on the day, but your idea will probably go out the window of what you thought it was. But the transformation that comes off the back of it at the end of the day just impacts so many different areas.
I love that. Like one of the girls who came to the group VIP day that we did in London last September, like in the weeks following that, it was just life decisions, like taking her daughter out of a school that she wasn't 100% happy with, and knowing that she put her in a private school and having the faith that the money would come, and did that. Like, it's though she didn't come in intentionally thinking that would be one of the outcomes, but it was like one of the halo effect outcomes, as I would call it. And literally, as she was making that decision, she got asked to go and speak on a global platform as the expert in what she does with breath work. It's just, it's like, there, you know, things that just happen that just like, I can't believe it's happening, but I know you'll believe it's happening. I'm like, yeah, I believe it's happening, because that's what happens when you go and you literally elevate yourself into a whole different version of yourself, and the universe then comes to meet that version of you. That's the magic. So all I want for you to do now, anyone that's watching, and you're like, I don't know where I want, if I want Limitless or a VIP day or the group VIP day, like, don't worry about that. Just drop me a message, say, and then you and I, or you and Cheryl, will chat and guide you to, like, well, what's the right next thing for you based on your goals and where you want to go and what you're comfortable investing right now. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's in a different place, but I just want you to do something.
Yeah.
And if
you've got that whisper, if that whisper is there, that's just a big sign in itself. And I think it's, you know, you and I know a couple of the other girls have said it before as well. Like when I first had that call with you, it's about asking yourself that question: do you want to be in the same situation where you are now in a year's time? You know, how would that feel? And for a lot of people, if they've got these whispers about there's more for me, or I'm not sure if I can do what I want to do, that in itself is a sign that you don't necessarily want to be where you are now in a year's time. So that's the kind of your calling.
100%. I'm not going to add anything to that, because I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, if you hear the whisper, do something about it. It doesn't go away, does it? It just gets louder. So, and your proof of what happens when you listen to it and you follow your intuition, and look at where you are now and everything that you've created. We're just in awe of you. We love you so much. And I hope you are enjoying this conversation. This has been more like a podcast than a live. I'm like, oh, we've been talking for 30 minutes. Like, how did that happen?
Maybe we need to have a conversation about that. Podcast. I'm feeling another pillow under.
Do it. So if you're watching even on catch up, make sure that you reply and like let us know your thoughts, which parts resonate for you, and drop me a message and let's talk about what your next inspired action is and your next step to move you along towards your goals. Mel, thank you so much as always for coming on. So open and transparent and just so inspirational. Like, I know you don't even think that's what you're doing, because it's just not how you are, but you are so inspirational in how you speak every single time. So thank you.
Thank you.
Right, guys, have an amazing day. Mel and I are going to have a little chat in the green room now, and we will see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.